Good morning. It's Christmas week. This is so exciting. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Sandy. A sip and a smile. So I thought if I put some of my hair in front of my ear and some back of it, and I had it so nice before, I would look just like an elf because it would look like my ears were sticking out like an elf. What do you think? Okay, well, that was my attempt at Christmas cheer this morning. I can't tell you any more than that. However, were you outside last night to see Jupiter and Saturn converging and the star? Yeah, I didn't see the star either, but I saw a lot of photos with filters where the star was really obvious. And I really wanted to walk outside and have the feeling that it was the real Christmas star. I just wanted to feel that way. I don't know about you. Did you go see it? Did anybody get like a real experience of it? I would love to hear about it. So yeah, this is a friend bought me this hat last year. I had a friend who was dying, actually, and her dying wish was to see One More Christmas. And I told her it wouldn't be her last Christmas, it would be her best Christmas. So some of us dressed up for Christmas. It wasn't too far off. It was in December. It was, a few weeks early, and we decorated her entire house. It was just magnificent. This was my Christmas hat. So, Diane, oh, and some of you may be aware that my first book, How to Be Happy When It Looks Like There's Nothing to Be Happy About, was dedicated to my friend Diane. Thinking of you, sweetie. Okay. Woo. Just a couple of days away now. And I mean, that's good news, but even better news is it's Tuesday. You know what that means, right? It's Taco Tuesday. I got these like giant shrimp on sale yesterday. And I am going to make my version of Rubio's shrimp tacos, I think, for dinner tonight. Doesn't that sound good? I make good shrimp tacos. Only because I copy their recipe. Did you know you could Google almost any restaurant recipe and something will come up and kind of help you? I have all this hair on my face. I'm sorry. It's a lot of electricity today. And it'll tell you about it. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, I think so. So I thought I had nothing to talk to you about today. And then I found out that it's Date Nut Bread Day. Hello. I mean, come on. Taco Tuesday and Date Nut Bread. I'm not generally really big on dates, but I do live right next to Indio, California, which is I think the date capital of the country, maybe the world. I don't know. Yeah, there's a movie you can see as you're driving down the freeway. It tells you all about stopping at Shields Dates, which is not too far from where I live, and you can see a movie on the sex life of the date. Yeah, dates are a big deal here in the Coachella Valley. Oh, my dogs are here to visit. At least two of them are here. They're jumping up on the couch, finding their comfy spots. Do you have a comfy spot? Is it on a couch? I don't know. So today is the birthday, happy birthday, although I'm not sure they're both still around, of Maurice and Robin Gibb, the older of the Gibb brothers. They triggered a story. You know how that works for me. Somebody's birthday, something that happened, and suddenly it triggers a memory for me. So my memory today was of Andy Gibb, the younger of the Gibb brothers. And personally, I think the cutest of the Gibb brothers. He was in a rock version of Othello with Lewis. What's his name? Another one you wouldn't have expected to be doing. Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis did a rock version of Othello at the Music Center in LA. It was phenomenal. And Andy Gibb was in it with him. Good morning. Anyway, so Andy Gibb is starring with Jerry Lee Lewis in this rock version of Othello. And I am invited to go to the premiere by my friend Alan Cartnell, who is the what gossip columnist for the LA Times. I mean, really dear friend of mine. And back in those days, that was a long time ago. It not it wasn't cool to be it wasn't cool to be gay. Gays were not out of the closet very much. And my friend Alan was just on the cusp of coming out, but he still, for events like that, needed what he called his shill. So he looked like a straight guy, and he would take me to all these Hollywood parties with him. So he invited me to the opening night premiere party, etc., of the rock opera Othello. And he said to me, you know, Andy Gibb is in this, so it's very likely that Olivia Newton-John will be at the party because they were a couple at the time. Well, that was the reason I went. Here's the backstory. Some of you may have heard this before. Stop me if you've heard this before. My daughter Donnie was about 5 years old at the time and madly and passionately in love with Olivia Newton-John. And she had, I want to say, the measles, the mumps, whatever it was. I think the measles and maybe chicken pox. That's what it was. Because we called them chicken pops. She had chicken pops and she couldn't go to school. And she was very sad because it was her kindergarten graduation coming up and she couldn't go to her kindergarten graduation and she was miserable. And this is like such a wonderful story. So I get invited to this party where her hero is going to be, and she is beside herself with excitement. But she doesn't say, Mommy, get her autograph. Mommy, take her picture. What she does is she sits down and draws a picture of Olivia Newton-John and herself and me and folds it up and hands it to me and says, would you please give this to Olivia for me? I thought, oh, that's so cute. She didn't ask for anything. She just wants to give her something. So I get all dressed up and we get in our limo and we go to this party. And when we get there, neither Andy Gibb nor Olivia Newton-John is there. So we mingle and, you know, I'm his shill. I'm on his arm and we meet all these celebrities and we're having a good time. And Andy Gibb walks in and we go over and we meet Andy Gibb. And he was, you know, I mean, he was nice. It was like nothing, as my mother used to say, it was nothing to write home about, but he was nice. He was very handsome. And my friend Alan said, is Olivia coming? And he said, yes, she should be here any minute. Now I'm excited and I can't concentrate on anything except watching the door. So my friend Alan says, okay, I can see I've lost you. I can mingle. You go ahead and watch the door. So I'm watching the door. And in comes Olivia Newton-John. And Andy goes running over to her and gives her this big bouquet of flowers and a kiss. And everybody's applauding and blah, blah, blah. And about 5 minutes go by. And now the hoi polloi is kind of backed off of her a little bit. So I decide it's my turn to go in for my daughter. So I go in and I introduce myself and she was very charming. And I said, look, I know you're surrounded here by people you need to talk to, but I want you to know that I have a 5-year-old daughter at home who is sick with the chicken pops. And she asked me to bring you something. She's your biggest fan. And she asked me to bring you something. So I reach in my little bag and I take out this folded piece of paper, which I hand her, and she opens it up and it says in baby scrawl, I love you, Olivia, love Donnie. And it's a picture of the three of us holding balloons. And she gets like misty. And she says, it's so beautiful, with her Australian accent, which I'm not really good at. Anyway, she said, and may I do something for Donnie? And I said, she didn't ask for anything. She just wanted me to give you this. And she said, let me write her a note. So she writes her this beautiful little note, which, by the way, I think she might still carry in her wallet 40 some years later. And then looks down at the bouquet that's under her arm. Now, I like to think that it was just a glorious, wonderful thing to do, and not that she was sick of carrying the flowers around. But at any rate, she grabs the bouquet and says, "Will you give this to Donnie from me?" That was very English, wasn't it? Anyway, so I get home that night, and of course, Donnie is sound asleep. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I shake her a little bit and I say, "Donnie, Donnie, do you want to wake up? I have something for you." And she does the, and I said, "Oh, okay, never mind. I'll just keep these flowers from Olivia Newton-John." She wakes, like jumps up, and we get a vase and we put them by her bed. And I don't know. Maybe it was magic. Maybe she was just almost well. But those flowers did so much for that child. I can't tell you. So that's my Andy Gibbon, Olivia Newton-John story. Kind of cute, don't you think? I do. Let's see. Who else's birthday is it today? Oh, it's Lady Bird Johnson's birthday. Remember First Lady Lady Bird? First Lady Bird? First Lady Lady Bird? Well, the reason I share that with you is because I never knew what her real name was. And now I know because I Googled it. Her name was Claudia. She was Claudia Johnson. Not nearly as exciting as Lady Bird Johnson, huh? I didn't really get the story of the ladybird. If you're really interested, ask me and I'll find out. But in the meantime, Ladybird Johnson was Claudia Johnson. Also, oh, this was my trivia thing for the day. Pam Corson, which I think was the name of someone I went to high school with, but not this Pam Corson. She was Jim Morrison's girlfriend. Okay, so that's like not that big of a deal, right? Happy birthday, Pam. That's great. But what I thought was really funny is that Pam, who was with Jim Morrison, who was kind of a rebel, was born in Weed, California. Okay, I thought it was funny. She was born in Weed, California. Yeah, it wasn't legal then, you know. No, it was not. Okay, one more birthday. It's the birthday of Steve Garvey, baseball player. I think I told you before that I had this neighbor when I lived in Redondo Beach, not too far from the water. I had a neighbor named Sue who was a flight attendant. And she used to meet all these famous people because she always worked in first class. And she actually met Steve Garvey because he was on one of her flights and they ended up dating for a while. So I was very aware of him. He married Cindy Garvey, beautiful, beautiful Cindy Garvey, who was on Regis and Cindy. Regis Philbin's show for a number of years was Regis and Cindy. And see, this is how convoluted my stories get. It starts out because it's Steve Garvey's birthday and he plays for the Dodgers and he's adorable and he dates my next door neighbor Sue for a while and then he marries Cindy Garvey and then this is like a Rube Goldberg story. Then Cindy Garvey is on a TV show with Regis Philbin called Regis and Cindy, and then I get hired to deliver balloons live on the show. And it was one of the very first times that I was on TV and pushing my business. And it like started a whole thing. So yeah, back about 4 bazillion years ago, I'm not sure it was my debut, but it was pretty exciting because I hadn't done it before. I did a birthday balloon delivery to Cindy Garvey on the Regis Philbin show. Yeah, it was all set up and I was like there on national television. And the story after that, of course, is that I ended up doing television like all the time. Yeah, it's kind of boring. But I got a lot of good stories out of it, so I have no complaints. All right, what else? It's cold. It's going to be cold today. It's going to be cold today. I'm sure it's cold where you are. But it's time for still doing some Christmas prep, getting that fire turned on, getting warm and cozy. I know a lot of you are struggling with loved ones, friends, relatives. who have COVID, and I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Do what you can to stay safe, keep them comfortable, send them love, send them prayers. Try and keep them warm. Opa says it's 29 degrees where she is. Well, I don't think I don't get me wrong, it's not hot here, but I think it's probably at least 40 here and probably will be closer to 45 or 50 by the time I hit the tennis court, although that will still be very cold. But by the time afternoon hits, I'll be going like this. Okay, it's really hot in here. You get it, right? All right, my friends, have yourselves a wonderful Taco Tuesday. Don't forget fruiting up, dating nut bread. Find a recipe. Find a great recipe for just maybe leave out the dates and just do nut bread. How good would that be? I love you, but you know that, right? I mean, I can't tell you that too often, can I? I do what I do because I have to do what I do. Because you're that important to me. And I have this thought that if I can give you a sip and a smile and some word art that says love is the reason, you can pass it on and we can together make this world a better place. Let's do this thing. We got it, right? I know we do. I'll see you tomorrow.